right, so hi. I'm really super pumped to be here today and to talk to you guys. My name is Sarah Jennings. I am most recently I used to work at Oath doing ad innovation, and now I am doing all sorts of innovation and basically like geeking out about blockchain all the time. So if anybody wants to just nerd out about it, I'm into it. Just come find me. Let's see. So how many people in this room know what blockchain is? Okay, good. We got like a half and half. So I'm going to do a little bit of like a basics, and then we're going to go into the super fun stuff. So, oh, it's not doing it. It's not showing the monitor. Okay, hold on. Uh-oh. Womp, womp, womp. You guys aren't going to get to see that I am a really bad drawer. That's a shame. Does somebody know how to get it to... Okay, sorry. I can talk through a lot of this stuff. Most of the pictures are just, I mean, I'm really not lying. I'm not a good drawer at all. All right, so what is the blockchain, right? So blockchain it's an open and decentralized, and this is great too, because now I can read this slide and I'm not being an a-hole. All right, so blockchain is an open and decentralized way to transfer value from one node to another node without having to trust anything other than your own verification of that transaction happening, right? So the blockchain was initially developed by a person or persons unknown that's named Satoshi Nakamoto in Japan, supposedly. And it was created as a response to the financial crisis in 2008, where he or she or they or it were knock it out, not go for it. Can I break it? They were working on a way to create a more stable type of currency, right? So he came up with this idea of a distributed ledger. So at its very base core, a blockchain is everyone in this room has the exact same copy of the exact same spreadsheet, right? So if I transfer something to you, we all go at a certain amount of time, we all go, hey everybody, I just gave you $1. And then we all go, cool! And everybody changes their ledger at the same time, and then now all of us have the exact same copy again of that ledger. So, so what it really comes down to is this idea of an internet of value. Now, the internet of information is what we're all really, really aware of right now in the world, because the information, right, is what we call the internet. Yay! See, aren't those pictures totally worth waiting for? You're welcome. I went to art school twice. Anyway, so right now though, if I'm, for example, this picture, right, we are not looking at, if I'm sharing information with you over the internet, I'm actually sharing a copy of that information. So this is a copy of this terrible picture I drew on my iPad a while ago. It is not, it's not the actual thing. And if I'm trying to transfer value, like if I'm trying to give you something, it's really important that within that system that I don't still have it and you have it. Right? And so that's the main thing that was solved, the main problem that was solved with the blockchain, that is how you can transfer value in a decentralized way that doesn't need a middleman, right? So blockchains create a giant interconnected system where no individual node is in charge. It will fundamentally change the way we allocate trust in the world. And because you don't have to trust people, because you can verify everything that happens. If I can know and verify everything that you can know and verify, right, and then the system keeps a log of everything that's ever happened, and I can always go check it, and you can always go check it, then I don't need a middleman to work it out, because I can do it myself, and so can everyone in the whole system. So, and then also, I don't need permission to participate in this system. I can just get onto it. And I don't have to worry about access, because as long as I have access to some sort of technological way to get on the internet in some way, I can access it. So it's super, super open. So where else do we find systems that work like this, right? These sort of decentralized networks. Well, one place we see them all the time is in nature, right? nature is a huge, complex, decentralized system. There's billions of nodes, and they're all independent, right? Every bee is its own little bee, but it's also interconnected and interdependent with so many other things in the world. So it's actually sort of where we started as a little amoeba, right? All working in our own best interests to try and make it in this system, and that's what ultimately what blockchain allows you to do. But how did we get it so wrong at this point, right? If we started in this utopian, like, I need some pollen, let me go get some pollen, and the flower's like, oh great, pollen helps everybody. Back in the day, we used to trade things from person to person, right? So I grew some wheat in this picture, and then I also, some other person made some chicken, or like some fake chicken, whatever makes you feel better about this drawing. And so I would give them the wheat, and they gave me the chicken, and we would all be great, right? But then as things progressed, if I had a lot of wheat and I wanted to trade it with someone far away, I ended up hiring an intermediary to do that. I would sell my wheat to somebody who would take it somewhere else and sell it to someone else somewhere else, right? And so we sort of relied on this series of middlemen throughout history. And basically what's crazy, if you think about it, is that almost every system we have as human beings today relies on a trusted intermediary in order to work. Like, all of our governments are trusted intermediaries. All of our banks, we always look to someone that we trust. I used to work in ad tech. All of the advertising technology, we are trusting a company to handle all of the moves back and forth, right? So this has gotten us to a situation of just massive inequality, right? Because the middlemen in these systems, they are looking out for their best interest, and we have given them all of our trust. We trust them to do things, and then we don't have any ability to verify that they are doing those things or not doing those things because we don't have access to see all of the records and all of the information. So it's just led to a system where people can just, the rich can just get richer and richer, and everybody else just has no recourse to fix it. Why does this good, right? Or what are we going to do about it? Well, what's great about the blockchain is that it removes the necessity for that middle person, right? So you don't have to trust anybody because the system is inherently trustworthy because you can verify what's going on at any given time with any node that's in the system. So you say to yourself, well, if you've got, if everyone has access to everything, how do you keep that system secure? Well, the answer is you kind of don't, right? So everybody in the system has access to everything, which makes it really, really hard to hack. Because in order to hack it, like let's talk about our spreadsheet from before, in order to hack that, I would have to hack every single person's copy of the spreadsheet at the exact same time before the next time I give you something, so it has to be fixed within that same amount of time. So it's incredibly difficult to hack. It is a super open system. It only works if it's open. A lot of the times, things you've heard of lately around cryptocurrencies and things being hacked have been people trying to centralize the power again around these blockchains to say, okay, you have to go through me as a trusted intermediary again, and then they get hacked. That's how it works. It's also radically neutral, right? The system, there's no good or bad transaction in any of these systems. You have a valid transaction or an invalid transaction based on the logic that we've all agreed upon when we enter the system. It's also radically transparent. We can see and verify everything that's ever happened throughout the history of the system. So there's nowhere to hide, and it's going to create an anonymized but publicly peer verified version of trust that we can use going into the future. So let's see. Okay, so I know I only have 2 minutes left. I probably only have 1 or less now, but I'm going to go really fast through this because this is really neat. All right, so where is this going to get us, right? So blockchain's awesome. I love it. It sounds like it's going to fix everything. Where are we going to start seeing it, right? How could this work? Well, first, let's just start off with money because it's sort of the gateway drug to blockchain. So blockchains are going to change how money is created. How much? Okay, who knows? How much does it cost to print a $100 bill? 12.5 cents, right? So if our government wants to make more money, they can just print more money, right? There's no official cap. There are regulators in the systems that we have trusted to try and make these decisions, but there's no official cap on how much money is in any system at any given time. Whereas in blockchain, most of them have a set cap, so you actually let real market forces have their way with what's going on with the currencies. It's also going to change how money moves, because it's not about how much money or how much of something I give to you, it's about that the transaction happened. So there's a small network cost to every transaction, but it's not related to the amount that you are transferring. So what you're able to do is you're going to start being able to see things like someone in one of those shithole countries, like Africa or Haiti, is going to be able to like send $1 to someone in Papua New Guinea where they just had the earthquake. They'll be able to just send $1, and we don't even know the kind of effects that those microtransactions are going to be able to have on our system, because you saw how crazy it was when the internet happened, when everyone was able to talk to each other easily. Imagine what it's going to do when you can actually interact with some sort of transaction at that micro level. It's going to really change a lot of stuff. All right, lots of other, I gotta skip stuff. Okay, energy, oh man. So it's actually getting cheaper to have solar energy than it is to burn fossil fuels, right? So we could have a decentralized blockchain-based power grid, right? Where we don't have a power plant. For the power plants right now, they literally have the power, right? And then they dole it out as they see fit, and then they charge us a bunch of money. We could have a decentralized power grid where if there's an earthquake or if there's a hurricane, it's not about getting that one main trusted intermediary online so that we all have access to electricity again. We all would have solar panels, and then you could, if you made more power than you needed, you could sell it back into the grid and make profit from that. All right, I know I'm super over time. Okay, this one's good. Okay, so voting could happen on a blockchain. It's a ways away, but it's going to be awesome when they do it. Let's see. We'll be able to have ultimate transparency in the way we make our laws and the way we make changes within our systems, so that, like, ladies like this, anybody know who this is? It's terrifying. This is, what was her name? It's Marion, I deleted it, Marion Hammer. She's the main lobbyist in Florida for the NRA, and she personally wrote most of the gun legislation that gets passed in Florida and then subsequently gets passed throughout other states within the United States. And she does it all under the table. It's really hard to tell that it's happening, but if our laws were built into a blockchain, you would be able to see who had effects, where the money was coming from, whose money went towards this happening, and it would shine a light on a lot of crap that's happening. So is this going to be a revolution? No, because revolutions just replace one centralized power with another centralized power, and we don't want that. We're done with centralized power. What we want is a renaissance. What we want is a rebirth of these kind of ideas that we had when, back at the beginning when we were bees and flowers. Like, we want to come back to a system that allows everyone to have equal access to what's going on and information within the system. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. When's it going to happen? It's going to be a while. But when it happens, it's going to be awesome. And let's see.